city or whatever.
Okay, let me just do one thing before you go any further. Let's approve the minutes of the June 28th meeting. Is that the last meeting? Is that the last meeting?
Those minutes aren't ready for you to look at.
Oh, okay.
We just met Friday and I had.
Okay, all right, we'll do this next time.
I'm sorry.
Are we gonna do it on the 13th? We may or may not. That's gonna be way.
That's
Okay.
why I didn't put it on there. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I just heard some discussion over here, and I picked up on it.
Oh.
Okay, let's go ahead here. Let's go to Tim Elliott, Lake County High School Cross Country. Welcome, Mr. Elliott.
Welcome. Thank you guys for having me this evening. I'd like to go ahead and hand this out to you guys. It is a copy of our track and how successful we actually was this past season. We were fortunate that we had a new coach come on board, Mrs. Porter from West Hamlin. She was fantastic. And one of the amazing things that we had this year that came out of track was the middle school program with KK and them. We've seen a lot of success coming from the middle school track program. And one of the amazing things that we do have at Guyan Valley is one of the girls hurdlers and long jumpers, Rachel Pennington, is actually broke 5 or 6 meet records in long jump with the jump of 15.6. And if you also look at the regional meet, 15.6 would have qualified her for states in high school. So, showing a little bit of support with another athletic, you know, starting a middle school program only helps us out at the high school level. It gets the kids to where they learn the fundamentals, and by the time they get to us, we're tweaking it. We're not having to teach new. So last year we got our first batch of kids coming in for middle school for the track program. Fantastic. 2 or 3 from Guyan Valley, a couple from Duval that participated at another school, and a couple from Hamlin. So we really had a great success. Now with that said, one of the things that we're looking at is cross country. The reason for that is twofold. One, we have 3 or 4 sophomore girls that are coming up. They participated in the Relay for Life 5K run, the Run for the Hill, and many of other 5K races around the state. Lindsay Pritchard and Rebecca Price. Their times were not only, if we had a cross-country team, would have placed them in regionals, they would have placed top 5 in the state as freshmen. So the essence for a fantastic cross-country team is there on our girls' side. Rebecca, as a freshman, placed 7th in regionals. Only a couple seconds behind on the top 6. Top 3 in track make the state. Then the next 4 fastest in the state come in alternates. So she was very close. They took the top 5 from our region. We're very heavy in distance. So what we're wanting to do is not only build up a very successful cross-country program, not only a program that will stand on its own, bringing regional, state recognition to Lincoln County, but it's also going to help us on the track side. Since we lost our seniors last year, not this coming seniors, we were really weak on the male distance side of it. We actually only had 2 male runners, and that was because they didn't have the ongoing conditioning like the Cabell, the Huntington High, the Spring Valley. You know, those kids start in fall conditioning all the way up through winter. You know, they participate in basketball, football, but they still have that conditioning to where when they come into track, they already have the training, the ability to go that extra 2 miles that we're wanting to push in the track that we just haven't had the success for in the past. And especially with, you know, a couple of the things that it's looking like at the high school, like golf might not be picking up. One of our students, and he really touched my heart. I mean, I really didn't know the kid that well this year. If you know, seeing him, I would have thought he was a troublemaker. But Ty Midkiff, when I got his story this year, and just that amazing kid. He came out for track this year. First sport he's been able to participate in years. And you know, with his full parent support and cross country, we actually already have a facility. The ROTC already has a cross country course. We're working with Tri-State Racers. Those are the ones that hold all the cross country meets. We're working with them and trying to get our course sanctioned because Cabell Midland approached us this year to hold the regionals. But we haven't had the cross country already approved, so we couldn't get it through the state in time. So they ended up having to take it. They're wanting us to take it next year for a 4-year contract. So we're trying to get Tri-State Racers to come in free of charge. They host the meet, they take a percentage, just like they did for Relay for Life, they take a percentage of your entry fees. So there's no payment on front. We already have the uniforms because you use the same uniforms for track and cross country. So the only thing that we would need is A, sanctioned as a school activity, as a school event, and then a paid coach is the only thing we're asking for. We've already been WVSSAC approved. We're already on the schedule for next year. We have a schedule, but we cannot submit it to WVSSAC until you guys approve us. We're looking to go to Proctorville, Fairland. It's the first meet. It's a, it's one of those. It's kind of like a get your feet wet meet. It's more like for smaller schools, things like that. It's an invite only, first come schools, things like that. Schools like Dawson Bryant that we play in basketball, Chesapeake that we play also basketball, football in the upcoming years with South Point. A lot of those schools are in it. So it's one of those meets that will give our kids the confidence going into Huntington High's meet, Cabell Midlands, Winfield, and St. Albans that they're also having in Charleston. So are there any questions for me?
Okay, let me, I'll probably seek clarification.
Go ahead.
You're wanting one coach hired for what level?
High school boys and girls.
Okay, one coach for boys
Yes.
and girls.
Yeah, because traditionally your average cross-country team is 7 individuals will participate, and you're allowed, as many as you want. Just like track, band, wrestling, anything like that. You're allowed as many on the roster, but when you actually get to a sanctioned invitational, it's 7 run, your top 5 score.
Okay. Could you educate me as to when the cross-country season is?
It's football season.
Okay.
It's the exact same time as football season. We start the first week of August, and we end, I think, at the end of October, beginning of November. So we do end a little bit earlier.
I thought it was fall, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
And where they actually run, you say that, is that already a designated area out by the high school?
Yes, it actually, if you guys go to the high school, if you go down next to the baseball and softball field, there's actually already signs up that say 5K course, not 5K, I apologize, cross-country course. ROTC has already had it, they've been running it for 4 or 5 years now. And it's already a sanctioned course for them when they have their Raider competition. So all we have to do is have Tri-State Racers come in, look at the blueprints that's already been in place for the Raider competition. They take some measurements to make sure that it is 5K for official times. And then we would try to have one this year, but realistically, we would push for a meet next year.
You mentioned Cabell Midland, whomever that was talking about coming in and having a regional meet. Would our facility be able to accommodate that? I mean, does it meet the criteria?
Yes, more than so. The only thing that we've been working with, Huntington High's been fantastic, and I'm not, they've been working with us and getting the WVSAC paperwork done. He pretty much handed it to me, I signed, and we went through it, and they've been working with us on getting our cross-country course. The only thing that we are really lacking is a stands area. So one of the things that Mr. Christian and I was talking about is possibly bringing over the football bleachers for an evening event, try to schedule it on a weekend that the football team's away. So that way they would have time to bring it over, and then we could transport it back and there'd be no problems. Especially a lot of times on the football schedules where you'll have 2 away games back to back, we could possibly then steal the bleachers on that aspect and set it up on that back parking lot. So that would be our start-finish line in that back open area that was originally set aside for basketball courts and things like that. We could actually have a trophy area and a resting area as the competitors finish.
Anybody else have any? No, I think you did a good job. You explained it all. Just a couple of things there we wanted to clarify. Just give us some time to think through it. We'll certainly consider it.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the time.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks. Oh, and real quick before I left, we were actually fortunate this year, and it was bragging a little bit on track. This was the first year that we sent a male runner to the state competition. He finished 14th in the state. He will be returning as the 4th hurdler in the 110, 300, 5th in high jump, and 6th in 400 in the state, not just our region. So we're really proud of that. So,
That's great.
Thanks.
I think what we've seen here is that our kids out there, they all have different interests. At one time, everybody played football, baseball, have for basketball, and that was it. But now all these other sports, and if we can accommodate those where they have an interest and have some ability, we certainly want to do that. So we're going to entertain both of your all's